So my life in
Wanting
general,
something you don't have, I guess.
like my day-to-day probably consists of like 5 unique but pretty consistent things. Parameters, scopes, perspectives, like where I put my time and attention are in about the same 5 things every week. Like pretty consistently, that's just all it is. And it seems like all 5 of those things are all kind of like, I don't like to use the word crumbling because that feels like it's bad, but like very painful changes. Like a lot of decisions have to be made. A lot of like learning has to be made on my end. A lot of growing, a lot of developing. It's like, it sucks. Like,
yeah,
like
there's like so many things we could be like. We've been having like crazy conversations, but we can't really discuss any of it on the podcast. Like normally when we come on the podcast, we can just talk about like whatever we're thinking.
Whenever we want, yeah.
And like we talk pretty openly about what we want to talk about, but there's a lot of stuff that we probably want to talk about right now that we just like can't. And you guys will find out eventually.
It's not really can't. It's also like don't want to, and it's also like these aren't your problems. I'm not going to make my problems your problems.
It's not even that necessarily. It's mainly like we have to make certain decisions about things, and some of those decisions involve telling people things that haven't been told yet. So it's like we can't tell the public before we tell like the closest people in our lives.
Yeah, we can't be like Rebecca and come on the podcast and be like, I'm on a large podcast platform and I'm coming out as a devotee, but like didn't tell any of her friends first. Like it's kind of like a similar situation where like there are so many fucking moving parts. Like I've been talking about this for way too long where I'm always like, I need a therapist. But it's gotten so bad that I'm like, I don't just need a therapist. I need like 4 sessions in 2 weeks. Like I need to just like brain vomit and just like dump all of this like bleh.
This episode has been brought to you by BetterHelp. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, it could be. I mean, honestly. Yeah.
So what I did was, I'm just kidding.
Nah, I've got a therapist that already see, I was actually considering them because I get ads for them all the time. I know people that use them. They're totally affordable and accessible, and it's exactly the kind of like solution to the problem that I have.
You already have a good therapist.
But I already have a standing relationship, and to have like 10 sessions just like catching up with my life story, like, well, I was born in Roanoke, Virginia, 10 sessions later, and then I started Wheels to Walking. Like I swear to fucking God. Like,
yeah, that's how much life.
That's how much life. It would just take way too long. So this person is way more expensive and doesn't even like take insurance or whatever, and doesn't work on a sliding scale. There's like so many things about it that just like aren't optimal. But it's like 4 sessions with them in the end will probably be cheaper than like 20 sessions with the other person. And honestly, like, I guess we can talk about this is like, it is scary to commit to leveling up because that means that success is, or even more success is even closer, and like the potential for more responsibility and like more restriction or less freedom, like that's also scary too. To like committing to yourself, committing to a project, or committing to an idea, or like committing to bettering yourself. It's like it's gonna be better, but for right now it sucks, and it has the potential to get even suckier. Maybe, like, I don't know, like there's too much ambiguity, there's too much gray, there's too much unknown, and that's the part that I suffer. I have a very hard time with my disability and with my mental health challenges, that like whenever I don't feel like I'm in control of things, or at least have some organization, like I tend to implode. And I feel myself like riding that cusp where I feel like every day I'm getting closer and closer and closer to the edge of like explosion. And, I literally like reread my Untold Story recently. And as I was reading through it, like I have some like really good advice to the people that have read the Untold Story. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should just like take my own fucking advice. Like maybe I should really like listen to what, this Richard was telling the strangers of the internet to do, because honestly, like I need to listen to myself right now. And I did. Like I straight up like
what was the advice that you needed to take?
Ask for help before it's too late.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like being self-aware of it is, I think, a sign of like you're not like that same person.
Oh no.
It's like you're more self-aware of it, so that when it's coming, you can take those steps into being like, all right, time for therapist, time to like really kind of take a break from things, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think I've established like certain guardrails and boundaries and barriers and like certain like red flag acknowledgments, like little simple things like I can pay attention to. Be like, oh, I'm like sleeping in too much and staying up too late, or oh, like I'm not eating the best way, or like my medicine timing is off, or things seem really disorganized, or my gym is all fucky, or like there's certain obvious things, and then even like in other areas, and it's just one of these deals where I'm like, yo, I kind of have to realize that I've been dancing on the line, or I've been like dancing on my guardrail. I've been playing on that line, and usually what I try to do is like stay as far away from the line as I possibly can, because I know what is on the other side of that line. But I've been finding myself in multiple areas of my life getting like closer and closer and closer. And honestly, I would say like a part of my own like ego and my naivete and inexperience and, I guess delusional optimism is really kind of like, I'm like, nah, I got this. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm good. And I also know how good I can keep a face and for how long I can keep a face. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I immediately like sought counsel in my family, because like, you know me and you know me really well. Jalila knows me and knows me really well, but you guys don't know me in certain contexts. Like, you don't know me as well as like they know me. So like being able to go to them and be like, hey, I'm fucked. And they're like, yeah, you're fucked. And I'm like, cool. So help, because, like I don't want to find myself in another 6 months, 9 months, a year, like back in a mental health hospital, or like, hooked on fucking drugs again, or,
or hooked
like,
on phonics.
Or hooked on phonics, or, like somehow my own behaviors have self-destructed, wheels to walking or whatever. Like, I just realized that like, I need a lot of work and I don't have a lot of experience or knowledge, and I just kind of don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And like, as these new problems and these new challenges and these new struggles arise, I'm so inexperienced that I'm like, okay, how did I end up here? Okay, but I'm here. All right, how do I fix this? Well, I don't know how to fix this. Well, who does know how to fix this? Not sure. So, I mean, even I'm finding myself just like as I'm journaling, just like coming up with ideas, or even just allowing myself to just like quietly sit and think for like an hour or 2 hours at a time. Because another kind of big red flag of mine is like, if I force myself to be around people all the time. Like if I'm not with you, I'm with you. If I'm not with Jalila, I'm with Anas. If I'm not with Anas, I'm doing something. Like I'm always like either like listening to a podcast or an audio book or like a YouTube, or I'm hanging out with someone. Like I don't give myself enough time to think in my head, because I'm always just like, I don't want to spend time in there. There's too much going on. La 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 la. And I just kind of just spend too much time outward. And I've been finding myself allowing myself to be kind of like more quiet and more introspective. But I think that probably also has to do with the fact that I'm like hella depressed, which is very. That terrifies me, that in a matter of 1 week, I can go from like, woohoo, best few days that I've had in like a year.
Life rips.
Yeah, that I can go from life rips to, oh, what the fuck? I can't even like get out of bed. Like I physically like can't move. How did that happen?
I felt it kind of too. I mean, I'm not in that same place of depression. I've got like a few more things at home. Like I've got a new roommate, and like I just got like a new desk, and like like random little things that are kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool. But like I vibe that too, because like being on, because we went from Houston and that was super fun. Then we went to LA, and like so in that meantime we were kind of looking forward to LA, and like that whole trip was just epic. And now we're kind of just like, we were like Mario, and we hit the mushroom, and then we immediately got hit by like 9 shells and fell down the pipe. Yeah, now we're in the water. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode, you can click right here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can click right here. If you want to watch more clips, we got 2 more right over here.